And we are live here.
Hello, Sir David.
Yes, we're
How are
reaching.
you? We are live. We're live. We're live. Coming to on your TVs in Texas and Louisiana with the
That's right.
smart money culture. This is what later. Smart money
Smartmoneyculture.tv.
culture
We are
TV
winning
network.
bigly.
What
Bigly.
a! I'll tell you what. It is something else today. There's a lot going on. We have Trump with the major win, massive win on Super Tuesday. Is Trump unstoppable? He is really. So he's got 1,215. No, he has 995, I think, of the 1,215 primary votes that are needed for him to take the primary. But I mean, the closest person is, I guess, Haley, because she didn't drop out. And she's got less than 100.
Yeah, obviously it's Trump train all the way through. He must have either A, won the hearts over or the minds over of those people, or he cut some deals. And I wouldn't doubt it if Trump made some deals with these people.
Well, Trump is a deal maker. Let's face it. That is absolutely correct. He makes deals. So I'm sure there are a lot of deals. I will say though as well that one of the things that he didn't do, of course, I thought was fairly interesting, was they did not make him the Republican, or he did not. They were going to make him the Republican nominee parent or whatever. I forget. There was another word that they used. The presumptive. He was going to be the presumptive nominee, and he said, "No, don't do that." And I think it was kind of a, he didn't want to be in a position where they were like, "Oh, well, he's got all these problems. He's now not the presumptive nominee." And I think that was really the move, because of course you got a bunch of Jekylls or whatnot out there. I think that
So there would be like no debate in a sense, you're saying?
well, so if they came out and they were like, "Well, Trump is the presumptive nominee,"
Yeah.
then they
Then
can
they could also say that he's not the presumptive nominee.
yeah, we changed our mind. He's not the presumptive nominee. He's got these problems, this one, that one, and the other.
Yeah. The electoral college is it's a real big brother over there.
Well,
Or
it
crazy
is.
uncle.
It can go both ways. I mean, here's the deal. We are a republic. We're not a democracy, and what that means is that each state actually has a vote, not in sense each person. And democracy is one of those things. If every person has a vote, and you have mass mob rule, right? I mean, there's drawbacks to that,
Yeah.
and that's why we have the electoral college, because each state is supposed to be an independent state.
Yeah. I liked when you had to own land to vote. It's not a bad one,
I
really.
think that is actually the best way to do this. Everybody has to own land to vote. Very simple process.
Yeah, then you don't need to have millions and trillions of mail-in ballots.
You don't need millions and trillions of mail-in ballots. Very good point, David. You don't need billions and trillions of mail-in ballots if everybody just has to own land to vote.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way actually it used to be. You had to own land to
Yeah.
vote. And also what it would do is it makes everybody very vested in the country.
Yes.
So let's say mom and dad came over here from wherever, and they made sure that you were born here in the U.S., so you have a U.S. citizenship. But then they never did really anything else. They went back to their home country or whatever else, and then of course when it comes time for you to go to college or whatever else, you come in here.
Right.
And you're a U.S. citizen. There's a very, very interesting position there too, because there are millions and millions and millions of these people that they never pay any taxes. You're supposed to pay taxes if you're a U.S. citizen, even if you're not like living here. You're supposed to pay taxes, and we have millions, probably, I mean, like millions and millions and millions and millions of people who were born here and they claim they're a U.S. citizen, but they never just came in and did anything. So,
well, you know how it works.
I do.
The taxes don't fund the government, so they're still.
I know. I'm just saying that it's a little bit of a loophole. I'm not a big tax guy. You know that. I think there should be zero tax. There should be zero tax. There was zero tax for most of this country's history. We had zero tax, and we were just fine. We were fine. It's like bothering me here. We were fine as a country, believe it or not.
Yeah, things are still going to get done. The roads are going to be built because I won't explain because
it will be fine. It'll be fine. You know what'll happen? The bad guys won't have so much control. Instead, now we have a position where they actually are arming and giving arms training to the IRS. What in the world does the IRS need arms training for? They have like automatic weapons and stuff. Like, what is going on?
Yeah, they couldn't. If they need to handle something, they can call the SWAT team. I don't think that they need to be personally doing it. They're pencil pushers. They don't need to be armed and dangerous.
Let pencil pushers be pencil pushers.
Yeah.
Make pencil pushers great again.
I mean, I don't think the smartest person in math class was the best at physical education and a lot of classes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we should just shut down the agency anyway. All of them, really. There was no FBI until around 1910. They say 1908 they started, but it's very unclear actually. But let's say 1908. There was no IRS until 1913 when they started the Federal Reserve. Once they started the Federal Reserve said, "Hey, we want to make sure that we get our payment every year. That is the interest of the money that we front, the paper money that we front." And that's the way it works. Every year, the amount of tax money that's collected from income tax is exactly the amount of money that we owe the Federal Reserve, which is a private entity, their central bank, on interest on the loan that they fronted us the money for. And that's why they have the IRS. They have the IRS to pick up those people, to pick up that money and make sure that they have it.
Yes. And they hired a lot of people to do it.
And they hired a lot of people. And they keep hiring more people.
Almost a bigger payroll than what they're collecting.
And the crazy part is, again, like we talk about, is they don't even need the tax money. The tax money is just there. It's basically the burn. They want to make sure that you don't have it. Because if you have it, then you can do things like protest. You can do things. You can come to DC. You can come to Washington and spend a week talking to your representatives.
Yeah, that's really where they brought the nation to, is just a point of living paycheck to paycheck and barely getting by.
Living paycheck to paycheck, barely getting by. People don't even realize it. Mom works, dad works. If they're out of work for a week, God forbid a month, they're in absolute trouble.
Yeah, there goes your 1 or 2 week vacation for the year.
If they have to fix a car, if a car breaks down, they are in trouble. They are in trouble.
This is how you judge the economy, by how these people are operating.
This is how you judge the economy, by how these people are operating. It's absolutely correct. We have, it is crazy, and that's one of the reasons why I wrote an article last night, and then I took it down. I'm going to fix a couple things on it, but I talked about, because they were saying, Trump has won the non-college graduate vote. They said everything but white vote, I think, but basically that. And we are going on commercials on Smart Money Culture TV. On the back side of the commercials, we'll have Matt Dixon on with us of Eve. He's going to chart some of these things. I know he has an exciting show. I can see him backstage, and he's excited. I can tell he's excited backstage.
I bet it's been a heck of a week.
It's been a heck of a week. Bitcoin is up. Almost. Bitcoin's up 13% on the week. Stocks are up. Everything's up. Oil is really, it's staying down under that $80, which means inflation, that keeps inflation a little bit lower. Once oil goes over this $80 mark per barrel, you're going to see this inflation really fly. I hate to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Gold is up. Make sure you guys go to @costmetals.com. We're launched. @costmetals.com, referral ID clubs with an S, or just go to @costmetals.club. @costmetals.club, and that'll forward you right there. Yep. @costmetals, buy gold, silver. Crypto may not be for you. I get it, guys. I get it. Crypto is highly speculative.
Well, you got to take your crypto profits and put them into gold and silver.
You can 3x like we did, or 1,000x with 3. I think it was more of a 3x for us. With something like the Shibboleth hat. Okay. Yeah. But you could also 3x down. All right, that's the way it works. That's crypto.
So get yourself some gold bars and go make some big chunky gold chains for yourself.
You make some big chunky gold chains like David has. David's got some big chunky gold chains. How do you travel around with $100,000? You wear it on your body. It's David's motto.
Yeah.
No, the markets are moving. I think that what will happen now, if Trump is able to pull this off, we will have some market manipulation. But overall, what Trump brings is optimism. And that was my biggest takeaway when he was in. It's optimism.
Yeah. That is one optimistic guy.
He's an optimistic guy, and people think that we can pull things off with him. We think that he's going to bring peace to the Middle East, as much peace as they can get over there. He thinks they think that he's going to bring peace to Ukraine and Israel. That war, I think, I could bring peace to Ukraine and Israel. Famous last words, right? But, that's that deal over there it should be over. Those poor people. I feel so bad for them. It's craziness. But optimism, markets are emotional. And optimism will drive markets.
I was just thinking about your high emotion levels in the market.
We're not going to talk about that, David. I trade like Matt Dixon, okay?
Stone cold.
Stone cold. No emotion.
They are emotional though. Man, that feeling you get when you make a good one, you're on cloud 9 and then you're down in the dirt. You make a bad one. It can really mess up your day or make your day.
Well, you got to you got to take your profits out. And that's one of the things. Let's put our trade with our trade link up there. We're about to bring the great Matt Dixon on. Let me check our commercial break here on Smart Money Culture. Smart Money Culture TV. Fly Mackey making big moves with us. We are adding a lot of more people. We're reaching, our signal right now is reaching about 7 million people. Of those 7 million people, 30% of them are watching local television. We have hundreds of thousands that are tuning into the network per day. Never mind, of course, all of the other great platforms that we are streaming onto, like X and YouTube and LinkedIn and all that stuff. Learn how to trade.club, discount code TradeSmart10. Learn how to trade like a cold stone killer.
Yep. Be part of the 5% of profitable traders.
Be part of the 5% of profitable traders like Matt Dixon. We're still coming off of commercials here. We're just about back. We can bring him on. How are you, Matt?
Hi, good morning. I just heard something quite amazing, that Bruce can bring peace to Israel and Ukraine.
yeah.
We got Bruce for president.
It's easy
Bruce
for
for president, and we are back on your TVs. Thanks for Smart Money Culture TV giving us this great network to be on. We're back on your TVs in Texas and Louisiana. Yes, world peace.
Yeah, well,
World
definitely.
peace. Bruce for president. I mean, one day they better watch out. One day, I might have to do it.
Yeah. So I'm sharing my screens straight away there, Bruce. President
Amazing.
Bruce.
What a great few days it's been. Let me add you to there. You are. Look at this. We're looking right here at Luna.
Yeah, I thought Luna's a good one because do you remember Luna used to be well over $100?
Listen, I made so much money on that coin. I kept buying. I bought it, and then in a bull market, and I just kept buying it. Every time it dipped, I just bought more. And oh my gosh.
Well, what was amazing, the eBay signal actually got Luna whilst it was in that rise and actually secured 240% profit on the upside. And
Wow.
then before the big fall, it's 5 days before, it was downgraded 3 times by the eBay system. And so it basically gave you warning of the collapse of Luna before it happened. So you could have got out at that $100 sort of area. And, now it's languishing down at $1. But yesterday had an amazing day. So it was up almost 100% yesterday.
Yep.
In one day. Almost doubled your money in one day.
I love it. I love it.
Absolutely amazing. So, and at the moment, according to this signal here, it's a buy and it's still holding a buy for the moment. But we'll look at some of the better known tokens. When I say better known, obviously Luna's infamous now. But let's look at the S&P because that had a big tumble yesterday as well. But interestingly, it actually aligned pretty much with our expectations. We were, from my count here, I'm just trying to, within this roughly within this parallel channel, we basically had an A, B, W, then an X, an A, B, Y, then X, and then we're expecting to get an A, B, and then finish up with a Z. So that actually worked out really well yesterday. So the wave came down, fell short of this X wave, so that was perfect for the B wave here. And then we started rallying higher. So it does look as though it's quite possibly and quite probably even going to go exactly according to our expectation. And we hopefully will get a further wave to the upside. And that hopefully will also align with the cryptos and the other risk assets. So a lot of people have been asking about this, this indicator I've been using, but I will go into it at some point. Let's look at DXY. Dollar index, that actually is quite interesting because it broke this long-held channel that we've had, just broke below it. So that's potentially a warning sign because we broke below, we retested it, which is what normally happens when you break a channel. You nearly always break either to the upside or downside. Then you do a retest, then the price continues. So maybe that's broken the back of the dollar now. So maybe we are going to see some weaker dollar moving forward, which will be potentially probably positive short term for risk assets if the dollar's weaker, but may have some implications longer term with the economy and so on. But that's DXY, and at the moment it's still holding a buy signal according to this indicator, even though we broke that channel. But this is looking at a relatively long term. Well, I say relatively long term, it's the 4 hour. If you look at the daily, well, actually daily, it's still showing a buy much longer term than that. So I'm still showing a buy on the US dollar for the time being. But the shorter term you go, so if we went down to the 1 hour, for example, we can actually see that there's a sell signal come into play. So the signals are different, whichever time frame you look at, to coincide with the kind of time scale that you'd like to trade. You could be a day trader, you could be, intraday trader, you can be a longer term trader. So, you look at a longer, look at a daily, for example, and you'd still be holding on a daily, you're still holding a buy according to this signal, but you'll be protecting it, so you're guaranteed a profit if you're trading that. Bitcoin was the big mover last night. it was amazing, wasn't it? I don't know if you're watching, but
course.
yeah. So it was pretty much aligned with our expectation. I was saying there's a lot of resistance and a lot of reasons potentially for Bitcoin to fall. And we had completed, I think, some kind of 5-wave move to the upside in this final move. So I was expecting at least some correction to the downside. And we need to see, how long-term that's going to be. But last night it fell from, it just broke a new all-time high. I think it was 69,200. In fact, I can find out exactly what it was. So last night, 69,210 was the high here on Bitstamp. And then it fell to, let's have a look at what the low was. The low was 60. Oh, it wasn't 62. It was lower than that, wasn't it? It was.
Oh, it went down to. I had some alert on my phone that popped up and said it passed 60 grand, and I was like, 60 grand, really? Wow, that's a dip. I don't know if it actually went there or if it somehow.
Yeah. 59,300 was the low last night. So from 69.2 to 59.3, so it fell 10,000. So it was about somewhere around 14% mark. It fell in just a matter of a couple of hours, really. It was really, really fast. So that was quite alarming. But as I say, I was telling everybody, as you know, to sort of protect your trades because there was strong potential for a bit of a pullback. And that's what we've seen so far. And we're still not quite certain when that's over as yet. I mean, as we move into the shorter time frames, so I'll move on to the 1 hour, for example, we can see last night, I'm just expanding it out a bit so we can see it all a bit clearer. So that was the move down last night from here. This dotted line was the all-time high, and you can see we just spiked above it by a couple $100, something like that. So it just spiked into all-time high territory. And then we started to move down, and we got this spike low to the 59,300 area. And then we've moved up. Now, potentially, if this turns out to be 5 waves to the upside, then it looks like this correction is over. So maybe an ABC correction. You can see the green and then changing to red. So an ABC correction down could potentially be all complete, the correction, and we could now be pushing toward the upside. And if this move up is just in 3 waves and it's complete here, then actually we'd probably expect it to have another push down. The push down isn't finished, but currently the price is pushing higher on Bitcoin. We're now over 67,000 again. If it pushes above here, this, what currently is a 3-wave move, will turn into 5 waves because we'll have from the bottom wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and if we push to a new high, it'll be wave 5. So that would mean 5 waves. That would mean we're basically looking impulsively higher. And so it would mean we'll get another little correction down, then another push to another high above yesterday's all-time high. So we're really watching this. It's looking at the moment, it's looking quite bullish and looking as though we might push above that. And we have 5 waves. And that will confirm that the market is still very bullish. So we just need, it's not absolutely clear just at the moment, and sometimes you need to wait for price to just tell you and inform you exactly what's happening. I did a couple of little small trades yesterday and today, nothing much. It's nice when you see a lot of volatility, gives you some opportunities. Ethereum has been on an absolute blast, and that's Ethereum's amazing.
It really is just on a tear, huh?
Yeah. So Ethereum is the one, obviously, that's touted to be the next ETF approval. So it's looking like it. And I always thought it would probably be in the run-up. We don't know when it's going to be. Most probably it's going to be around May time. But like Bitcoin had a massive run-up before the ETF approval, it's looking like that's same thing with Bitcoin. Then we've also got this protocol upgrade. It's called the Dencon, I think, isn't it? The upgrade.
They always have such great names for their upgrades.
Positive news for Ethereum, and we can see there the way it's absolutely rocketing to the upside. And I'm just looking at the signal here. You can see it's all buy there. Let's just see. You can see the buy signal was from a long time ago. As I said yesterday, the buy signal was 2,300-ish, somewhere around there, and we're currently 3,800. So we're 1,500 above that buy signal there. We had a signal then it turned to a buy signal round about here, and you can see it's held all the way through, still holding it. So Ethereum is looking really, really bright, and there's no indication of any potential sell, even though we had that downturn last night. There's no sell signal came into play at all. It wouldn't remove it. If a sell signal came, it would still be there and would show the downturn, but there was no sell signal. It's still very much in this uptrend. And, as they say, don't bet against the trend. If the trend is higher, run with it. XRP has been another interesting one. It was really interesting last night because you've probably seen on my charts that I've been showing last few days, I had this dotted line on, and this was my area. Even though price was pushing up and up and up, this was my area, what I expected support to be. And we see last night, big price move down from 60, nearly 67, nearly 0.67, 67 cents, all the way down to 53, so a massive fall, but it actually stopped just on that support level that I'd had drawn in ages ago. Long time ago, I had this drawn in as support, and it's just amazing how you see these big spikes, and as you say, sometimes liquidation events where they liquidate people, but it actually just tagged the support line there, and then price rocketed up to the upside. So again, I did a little trade on XRP to the upside, and it's done quite nicely. So again, we can see these signals being quite useful there. Litecoin, we showed yesterday, that was an amazing one. Litecoin did actually come out with a sell signal yesterday, and you can see the big move down it's had since that.
Wow, look at that Litecoin. Woo!
Yeah. So I'm still thinking that most likely, because I do think that we've got higher to go in the markets, and we saw this triangle formation, and as I said yesterday, following a triangle, you normally get a thrust to the upside. So I actually, if I just scroll out a little bit, you'll see what I've how I've got this labeled, that I've got it labeled as, and it's quite important why I've labeled it this way, a W wave. And a W wave is actually made up of an ABC, making up a W. Then the X wave here can be 3 waves, or it can be a triangle. In this case, it's a triangle. So the triangle is made up of A, B, C, D, E, but each wave is 3 waves in itself. And you can see here, every one of them is 3 waves. So that actually is a perfect triangle. And I actually don't have any doubt that this is a triangle formation in the form of an X wave. And so we've had a W, we've had an X, and then we're expecting to have a Y wave. Now, a Y wave will be made up itself of an ABC, just like this W was made up of A, B, and C. The Y wave doesn't have to be in the same proportion, but the Y wave will also be in the form of an ABC, following the thrust from the triangle. So we got a thrust from the triangle in an A, we're getting a correction down in a B, which we've had, and then we're already pushing up very strongly in a C wave. So I do think that we're going to push up higher with Litecoin and with all the other cryptos, and with SPX, the S&P 500. But then I do think that we'll be due another substantial pullback, a good pullback from that point. So again, just flipping back to the SPX, S&P 500, and if I go on the 4-hour there, again, you'll see I am expecting a final push to the upside to this Z wave to complete this upside move, possibly within the channel. It may actually be, if I extend the channel further out here, possibly within that sort of channel, maybe we go up to there. But this Z wave needs to go somewhat higher, I believe. It may not be that high, it could be down here, but somewhere above this A wave anyway to complete. So we're looking for one more move up there with that dollar index. Sorry, not dollar index. I keep saying that, with the SPX, S&P 500. But this one is one that seems to be showing the way for me, Litecoin. That again, we're looking at this final move probably to the upside, and it could go quite a bit higher. I mean, we could be looking easily right up here at 102. So you could be looking at some more substantial upside for Litecoin. And the same with the other tokens. I actually think Solana also, whilst we finished a 5-wave move, I think this is probably just some kind of correction. And I think at a larger scale, we've got another push to the upside. And you can see I've got this line I've had again, previous to yesterday's move, as one potential target. So I do think we've got some potential further upside on Solana as well. And we'll probably finish on what seems to be your favorite now, Doggy. Again, phenomenal performance again. And again, just look at this. We're looking at the 4 hour. I'll move to the daily because it's quite a volatile asset. And again, just look at that. We got a signal right down here. So following basically a bit of a sell signal here, buy signal, sell signal, taking it down here. Then we got a buy signal. That was the last signal we had. So we're still currently holding the buy from all the way down here, where the buy was round about 6 cents. And we're currently, well, right now we're sitting at 16.67 cents. We peaked higher than that. But at the moment, it's still holding the buy and looking as though, according to the other cryptos, we're likely to see it. It actually does appear to be pushing up again nicely now. Looks as though we're going to get some more highs there. So virtually whichever token you look at, I think we're due for at least one more good push to the upside. So here's ICP. Once again, ICP, we can see there that we had a buy signal a long time back at $3. And we're now sitting at just shy of $15. So 5x there on your money just by following this simple signal. So amazing. So that's really nice wrap on the markets. We'll just finally, we'll probably have a quick look at oil. Oil is actually looking, I know you said, and that was resistance there that we just spiked above, but we didn't really manage to stay above. And it's quite important when you're looking at resistances like this. If we break above, really, the candle needs to close above. And it hasn't really closed above. None of these candles closed above. They actually all closed below. And so the outlook for oil, according to this signal, was a sell signal way back here at $87-ish or somewhere around there. $85, $87, if you call it 85 even, whatever, around there. We can see prices come down. It's still holding the sell signal. So it looks as though the economy may be softening. And remember, we got that news out yesterday from America. What was it? It's some manufacturing news anyway, wasn't it? Sorry. Yeah, it was manufacturing. No, it's services, sorry. And I mentioned about if it comes out softer than expected, that shows the US economy may be softening a little bit, maybe slowing down a little bit. And that would align with this expectation here that maybe oil prices will fall. So, it's a really tough one about this fight against inflation, where inflation's going, and it'll be really important with the Fed meeting and it's around the 20th of this month, isn't it? So only a couple of weeks away now that we have the next rate decision. So that'll be really important to get another snapshot of where we are with the US economy. But at the moment, it appears that the US economy is beginning to soften a little bit. And if we flip back in our minds to those examples where I showed you when, for example, unemployment bottoms out and starts to pick up again. If we see a US economy beginning to soften, then that might be a sign that unemployment might begin to pick up. And that is the sign, the early warning sign that recession is about to come our way. And as I say, there are many, many signs telling us that recession is coming in the US. So they will be lowering rates. I know there's still upward pressure. There's still inflation still way above what it's supposed to be, but they will be lowering rates later this year unless we get something really unforeseen happening. They're going to be lowering rates because recession is coming, the economy is slowing, and we'll probably get a final push up in risk assets. But recession itself is not good for the economy. Yes, a moderately growing economy, when the economy is really shrinking, that is not good for risk assets. And so there will be, that'll be a stimulus for the markets to turn around. So hopefully that gives a clear picture of where we are, where we're going, short, medium, and long term. And that's it for today, Bruce. Unless you got any.
Pretty amazing. I was putting together some post as we do it. Make sure, guys, to follow us on X, one of our favorite platforms. X. Matt is MD Trade, and that's not Dr. Trade. But it could be Dr. Trade. It's Matt Dixon Trade, MD Trade, and of course David is Sir David Porter at Sir David Porter. and I am a networks manager. One of our favorite platforms. That platform is just blowing up. That it is just really on fire. It's amazing what free speech will do. What free speech will do. So pretty interesting. The markets, I mean, just really, really going. I like the analysis on oil as well. It seems, I think one of the factors is, of course, we're producing. The U.S. is now producing so much oil.
Yeah, I mean, for the US, it's actually they're in a good position. But we've found anyway, even when the constraints, they always find a way. But yeah, US is in a very good position because they've really used technology with the fracking and everything. So they're now one of the big producers, and they're very much self-sufficient on oil. Whereas a lot of Europe, they have to import oil, whether it's from Russia, whether it's from Israel now, because Israel is now, particularly gas and oil really, Israel has now become a big supplier. So these are now becoming really, really important.
Well, it's interesting actually that you brought that up, because that has been some of the rumored stuff going on over there, is that there's a lot of oil reserves off of the coast of Gaza. And I mean, I don't know, but it is interesting that Israel is now producing a lot of oil. I mean, look, I think that, they've been telling us our whole life that oil was, we were going to use it all and we were going to run out, and there's only a limited amount of this and all this other stuff. And I think it's all baloney. I think the earth, I could be wrong. I mean, this is based on nothing except Bruce and his conspiracy theorist mind, which have been right a lot. But I think the earth is producing oil. I don't think that we're going to run out of oil.
They call it fossil fuels. Like
they call it fossil fuels, but I don't know. I think the earth is producing oil.
Well, I think you're absolutely right. I don't believe the earth is necessarily producing oil, although, I suppose it's been deposits laid down over many, many, many years. So I guess oil, in a way, is still being produced. And yeah, we've been using a lot, but we're actually getting a lot more efficient with it. And there's actually new energy sources, and we're using a lot more renewables and becoming so much more efficient at extracting it. So I don't think oil is the issue. Everyone was talking about us running out of oil years ago. I think initially they're talking about before the year 2000 we'd run out of oil, and now it's just getting put out further and further. And eventually, if things continue as they are, we're going to have nuclear fusion, which is will be unlimited energy without any radioactivity or anything of that sort. So I don't think energy is going to be the issue that we thought it was going to be. I think there'll be other things like food and water, which again, mankind has the capacity to potentially overcome these issues. So it's just whether we can remain friends and stop these wars, I guess, is the big issue. So we need Bruce as president. Bruce for president.
Yes, Bruce for president. I agree. One day we might just have to do it. We'll see what happens. Of course, now that I'm saying on air, they're really coming after me. That's the biggest problem, is they just come after you so hard. If you do anything like this, I mean, you're just like this huge, you become this massive target. And they dig up. I mean, the Washington Post, they had the cartoons, they were joking of how they were examining every move that Trump ever made. But that was really true. I mean, they were digging up everything that this guy ever did. I mean, if he was with some prostitute somewhere, sometime, I mean, they knew about it. They dug up everything. I mean, and nobody cared. I wouldn't say nobody cared.
But Bruce has no skeletons in his closet, I'm sure.
Oh, no. We keep those closed. It's closed. Okay.
It's quite interesting to see oil price. If you think about how much inflation we've had and how much money printing and so on, and you look at the oil price back in 1984 even, 1984 the price was 32. You think about how the price of everything has gone up, but oil is, double, less than triple anyway, what it was back in 1984. So we're talking 40 years ago, oil prices tripled. But if you look at the price of goods, they've way more than tripled. So it just shows oil price, there's plenty of supply. It's not the issue that everybody once thought it was going to be.
Right. What is interesting as well, and that which makes I have expected actually oil to move up, although we do have these factors that are keeping the price down. it's almost like they're just keeping it down with paper, but I guess they're keeping it down with supply as well. But I would expect oil to be much higher. I mean, if it followed the normal inflation rate, I feel like it would be much higher. We'd be looking at $300 a barrel oil.
Yeah, you would. It is just a matter that, as you say, it's supply and demand. We're actually producing a lot more, and there is, in proportion, there's less demand, and especially now. I mean, even UK, we're producing an awful lot of renewables with wind power, with water power, with heat pumps. They're giving incentives for all the homes to have heat pumps now to produce heat just out of the soil. So there's so much more of the energy now is just generated from renewable sources. So yeah, it's not going to be, the next war isn't going to be about energy, I don't think, or well, who knows? But it's not the issue that I once thought.
Yeah, it's not, right. Well, as well, it seems like right now there's a lot of energy, right, and it seems like we're going to learn how to do more and more as well to produce it. Well, amazing, Matt. Another wonderful broadcast. I know I mentioned it yesterday. I am tracking, and I still have to talk to them, but I am tracking Paris Blockchain Week, so I don't know if you're going to be traveling at all, but that could be a decent one for us. I wonder if I can get us a nice booth. Our show, Impact Money, we can go live from the Paris. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let me see what I can put together. But that could be pretty interesting.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah, it's just... Yeah, actually, I've stopped sharing my screen, so perhaps we'll jump on this one tomorrow, but some amazing stuff on Bitcoin that we can look at. So yeah, that would be great if we can catch up in Paris.
If you want to, I mean, Bitcoin's Bitcoin. If you want to real quick, I'm in for it.
Well,
yeah.
Take me. Okay. Yeah, it's going to take me a moment.
Mm-hmm. The mighty Bitcoin.
Yeah, so that should be there, Bitcoin. We have actually seen this chart before, but it's just amazing how I am now kind of under the impression that this is just a completed 5-wave move virtually to the upside. We may have a little more push, but maybe we completed a 5-wave move to the upside. And when you have 5 waves, you normally get 3 waves back. So even before that, when Bitcoin rose from its very beginning from 0 to the all-time high, people count that as 5 waves to the upside, and then we got potentially this 3-wave pullback that we had. So now we've had 5 waves to the upside once again, and it's just sort of matched the previous all-time high virtually. Then you would expect to get 3 waves pull back at some point. It doesn't have to be a deep one like this. It can be relatively shallow. But we would expect some point in the near future to get some kind of pullback. It could be shallow, it could be deep, we don't know as yet. But that's just, I was thinking that this is what's going to happen, that basically this is going to act as what's called a double top pretty well. So we've seen virtually a double top now in Bitcoin. So I do think that there's potential now or very soon that we will get that pullback. But probably, as we said, we'll get one more push up in risk assets. Bitcoin, XRP, Litecoin, Solana, the lot, S&P 500, one more push up, and then we'll get that 3-wave pullback. But who knows? It could be quite a big pullback. So again, trade carefully, be cautious, and protect your profits.
Yeah, protect your profits. Class advice.
That is really great advice, guys. You always want to protect your profits. Put some stop losses in there. Go put our link up there, David. Learn how to trade. Oh, it's down there. Learn how to trade.club. Sign up, trade with the great Matt Dixon and team, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, if you'd followed just some of those signals, but combine that with a lot of other information, useful information, but just those signals that I've been posting the last couple of days could have made you a lot of money without massive risks. It's all about managing your risk reward, but the upside that we've seen on Bitcoin, Solana, Litecoin, ICP, 5x opportunities here. and they're very clearly signaled.
Look at this guy.
Right?
Great Matt Dixon. Learn how to trade with Matthew Dixon. Dive into Dixon's 30 years of trading expertise through our 10-module course designed for all levels and proven in the toughest markets.
Yeah.
1.2 Neo in profit. Is that last year you're talking about?
Last year,
yeah. This is pretty amazing stuff here. So I encourage people, if you're looking at this, if you're looking at these risk assets, if you're watching thinking that you want to get involved, this is a way to do it. And 95% of traders fail. They are not successful traders. And that means that there's only 5% that are making money, and you want to be in that 5%. So if you're going to throw $1,000 at the market, or you're going to throw 5,000, which is a normal number, maybe it's a good idea to do something like this leading into it.
Yeah, I mean, even if you'd thrown $1,000, I mean, I don't suggest going for an individual asset. So, I'm just giving an example. If you caught ICP, according to the signal I just showed you, you'd have 5x your money. So $1,000 could be $5,000, and you could close that trade today and close $5,000. 4,000 profit there, 5x your money. But we actually teach about diversification, portfolio building. So even if you didn't catch that, just the main market, Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever, you can be looking at 2 or 3x, and 3x times $1,000, you've more than paid any of those subscriptions. So it's probably worth your while.
It is probably worth your while. All right. Well, amazing, sir. I look forward to the show tomorrow as well, and
Very much so.
we will keep working it over here. I'll try to get some more information on stuff too.
Good. Thanks, David. Thanks, Bruce. Catch you tomorrow.
You're the man. Talk soon.
Catch you later. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Cheers. All right. So we are having a great time here. Tune in. All right. Boom, 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 boom. As I do this. What great insight. It's always good to see what people like Matt are showing, on these types of things, because the trading, it can be very emotional, as David alluded to before, and how he has trouble with his emotions when he's trading.
Yeah, it's an emotional roller coaster.
It's an emotional roller coaster. Well, I'll tell you what, the massive news, really massive news from coming out with Trump on this. I mean, this is like, we haven't ever seen anything like this. You know what I mean? Like, let me just see here, 4823. Like, this is something that hasn't really happened in our lifetime.
No, definitely not.
Right? I mean, that is like really something else. We have somebody who was the president, and then he, however you want to say it, let me just put 4823. He lost. Okay, whether you want to say he lost fair or not fair is really immaterial at this juncture. And then he's come back now. He waited. He did his time. I mean, a lot of people, I feel like, in the history of the country, might not have waited. You know what I mean? They might have, really done an insurrection.
Yeah.
But he waited.
Yeah, good point.
He bid his time. He played all of these. They've gone after him with all their court stuff, this lawfare, and here he is. He is, I wouldn't just say he's the front runner for the Republican Party, which obviously he is. He's the front runner in the election.
Yeah.
I mean, hands down. You have Joe Biden, who, I mean, let's face it, I don't think anybody really ever liked the guy anyway. And he hasn't been able to stay awake hardly anywhere. I mean, the guy can't even stay awake.
Yeah, it's rough. Did they deem him incompetent for a trial, or is that kind
They
of
deemed him incompetent for a trial, and yeah, it was like nobody even blinked. Like, it was so funny. Like, they actually deemed the president incompetent for a trial. They said he's this old guy and he's going to be, he's not going to be able to do it. He's going to be, he basically won't be competent.
That's insane.
Is Big Super Tuesday win? It is. It really is something else. It is absolutely something else. And I'll tell you what, David. This is how, we're in a historic moment. This is how history is made.
Yeah.
This is how it happened.
Some smart people,
Huh?
some brave people, and we'll get through this history bump. And I want to go down in some history books. So I'm making as much as I can. I'm trying to make a difference. That's why
we
here.
aren't doing this for nothing, folks.
Twice
David
a day.
and Bruce for president and vice president. You have your
None
first
of this is
brother team. The Porter Brothers.
Yeah.
We're taking over this joint.
Yeah. We'll make it all right.
Peacefully. A lot of fun. Great show today, David. Thanks for joining on. I'll tell you, our Shib with Hat guys are having a ball. Still up over 600%. Shib with Hat. Check them out. Shib with Coin. That's WIF. ShibWithCoin.com. Check them out. Shib with Hat on Solana. Solana is absolutely pumping so hard. And it's pushing that ecosystem.
You can get their contract address right off of CoinMarketCap.
If it follows the Dog with Hat, which they're calling themselves the Dog with Hat Killer, if it follows the Dog with Hat Killer, or if it follows the Dog with Hat, we're going to over a $1 billion market cap. And from where they are right now, flirting around with 10 million, that is a big move, guys. That's a big move. That's life-changing move. Don't mortgage the house, okay? But meme coins are fun. Maybe we can have some fun with that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll see you in 5 hours on your TVs there in Texas and Louisiana, as well as streaming live around the world. David, great work today.
Absolutely. And stay tuned and you'll stay lucrative.
See you soon.
Your voice is powerful. When combined with social engagement, it's a force for change. Decentralized media paired with free speech is the catalyst for an empowered world and a unified, invaluable ecosystem. Join Global Boost, become a champion of free speech, and help to reshape the future of media.